Hello, my name is Andy and I am the Village Idiot, and I'm armed with a car and a GoPro and an unhealthy amount of time on my hands. Welcome back to the East Riding of Yorkshire and to another small town. There are plenty of these small towns in the East Riding. It's not all about the villages, and this one you couldn't get any closer to the middle of the East Riding of Yorkshire. That's probably why this one terms itself the heart of East Yorkshire. Welcome to Market Weighton. Here's my disclaimer for people who may be watching me for the first time. I say things as I would in my native accent and dialect. As a result, I may not pronounce things in the same way as the locals do. Remember, I'm a visitor. It's impossible to know everything. Leave me a comment, spin me a like, and bash that subscribe button. Let's get to today's parish video. Market Weighton is a town and civil parish in the East Riding of Yorkshire. It's one of the main market towns, and there are more, trust me, in the East Yorkshire Wolds. It lies midway between Hull and York, about 20 miles from either one, and although it might not be quite the geographical centre of the county, it's undoubtedly East Yorkshire in its makeup. Its parish boundaries touch in a clockwise direction from due north Goodmanham, Etton, Cherryburton, Sancton, Southcliffe, Home upon Spalding Moor, Shipton Thorpe and Londesborough. As a civil parish, Market Weighton has a town council, which operates under the East Riding of Yorkshire Council, and it falls within the Wolds Weighton ward. It's also part of the parliamentary constituency of East Yorkshire, not to be confused with the county, which is much larger. It's based around the northern part of the East Riding. Running around the town is the 3-mile long £5.1 million A1079 bypass, which opened in March 1991, meaning the main road route from Hull to York does not have to pass through the town centre. Industry in the town is largely based on agriculture. It's well known geologically too, having given its name to something called the Market Weighton Axis. Make no mistake about it, everywhere you look here in Market Weighton there's always something to see. This is a kind of a challenge for me, ones like these, because I never know what to keep in the video because there's so much stuff. But that's a good thing, because you guys like that kind of thing. The 19th century English lexicographer Sir William Smith proposed Market Weighton as the location of the still undiscovered Roman camp of Delgavisia. The town was listed in the Domesday Book as Wicstun, and there are plenty of references to that name around here. Wicstun was actually more than just the current Market Weighton town as well. It covered a wide area which included no less than 15 villages. Market Weighton was granted a charter to become a market town in 1251. The charter was awarded to acknowledge the geographical importance of the town as a junction of two early routes between the Wolds and the Vale of York. 200 years later, in 1458, a second charter was granted to Henry Broomfleet, 1st Lord Vesey, for a market on Wednesdays and annual fairs on the 3rd of May and 14th of September. It was described by John Leland, a notable antiquarian in the early 16th century, as a great uplandish village. I can assure you though, this does have town status. The wide main street and marketplace would have accommodated the market, and many streets leading from these areas end in gate, like Northgate and Southgate. These are medieval names. In the late 17th century, the town consisted of some 140 houses and had a population of about 650. It was distinctly semi-urban in character by that time, and it's just kept growing. Weaving, tanning, malting, shoemaking, milling, tailoring, innkeeping and shopkeeping were amongst the prominent trades and crafts. The weaving here was linen weaving using the coarse hemp which was grown in considerable quantities in the Vale of York. One area of the marketplace was designated the Hemp Market. Market Weighton's history also includes William Bradley, otherwise known as the Yorkshire Giant, who at the age of 20 was 7 feet 9 inches tall. Giant Bradley is quite well celebrated in these parts. In May of each year, local residents take to the streets of Market Weighton for the Giant Community Day, a festival in celebration of the life and times of William Bradley. In 2003, after some local consultation, the Weighton Area Regeneration Partnership, or WARP for short, adopted a slogan and logo for Market Weighton, the heart of East Yorkshire, and it truly is. According to the 2011 UK census, Market Weighton Parish had a population of 6,429, an increase on the 2001 figure of 5,212. That's a massive increase. It certainly explains all those new builds which we've been walking through, and there are more still being built too. It helps to increase the town's population density, which is currently 314.1. As of the 2011 census, Market Weighton has 55% of its residents falling within the 18 to 64 age bracket, 23.8% who are aged over 65, and the remainder 21.2% being children. Ethnically speaking, at 98.6% white British, Market Weighton is typical for a town in the East Yorkshire Wolds. The largest minority here would be Asian. That leaves us with the average house price for the town. Based on 98 sales within the last 12 months, that comes in at £238,000. You can get a flat though for 90. Right, it's a small town, so you know the drill by now. With these, there's way too much to film every shop and business going, so it's time for a montage. Quite a busy old town centre this, cars flying through all the time. I've crossed the road a few times, dicing with death a little bit. Education is pretty good in Market Weighton. For starters, there are a number of primary schools. This one here in Shot is Mount Pleasant C of E Junior School. It also has a secondary school. This is the Market Weighton School, which is located on the town's northern outskirts overlooking the Wolds. It also doubles as the location of the town's sports centre, which offers activities such as squash and badminton. Allotment fans, I have you covered today. Check out these on Halling Road. They're not the biggest ones I've ever come across though. One of the main recreational areas is called Aspen Playground. This is a large area which consists of a playground and at least one football pitch. It's a wide open area, and there's a good reason for that. It's because Aspen is located on the Helens Well, a former railway line we've met before in Weighton. In fact, it's where two rail trails we've seen before merge. You see, Market Weighton railway station was at the junction of the lines to Selby, Driffield, York and Beverley, with the last train running in 1965. The abandoned lines to Beverley and to Selby are now used as public paths, and the Hudson Way and Bubwith Rail Trail meet here. Market Weighton Bowls Centre can be found on Beverley Road. Keep in mind, there's more sports facilities than these. These are just the ones my route passed. The church next, dedicated to All Saints, was designated a Grade 1 listed building in 1967. With features from the 11th, 13th and 15th centuries, this is the only surviving building from the Middle Ages. The Saxon connection is maintained with a simple tub font at the west end of the church and herringbone stonework at the base of the tower. The church has a monument to Giant Bradley. Bradley himself was originally buried in the churchyard but later brought inside the church for fear of grave robbers. Well, this here in the churchyard is like a little bit of a sanctuary. It's very quiet compared to the fact that the main town street is literally just there, and it's so busy. This is much quieter, much nicer. The church is open as well. Let's go in and have a look. Maybe not, there's a service on. Market Weighton has 3 churches, as well as All Saints, there's St John's Methodist Church, and this one, the Roman Catholic Church of Our Lady of Perpetual Help. Bus services here link the town with Beverley, Hull, Pocklington, York, Home on Spalding Moor, Driffield and Bridlington, and they're pretty frequent too. Right, pubs, and you're never far from one of these here. We begin on the outskirts of the town with the Carpenter's Arms, a fairly small, one-room pub with a friendly, locals atmosphere. Next, we move into the town centre with the Red Lion. This is a little different. It has one large room, whilst part of the building can be used to accommodate for parties. Not too far away, we have the Half Moon, which is a Grade 2 listed building. These pubs, of course, are all within walking distance of each other, if you know what I'm saying. The Londesborough Arms is an old coach house previously called the Devonshire Arms, and it was built in the 1780s by the 5th Duke of Devonshire and used as the main coach house for the area. Lastly is the Bay Horse, an independent family-run free house specialising in fresh fish and seafood, and it serves fine wines from around the world. If you want to come to Market Weighton to do a bit of shopping, you've got no problems when it comes to parking. There's a massive car park at one end of the high street. Speaking of public services, on Cliff Road we have Market Weighton Fire Station, which is almost directly opposite the Roman Catholic Church. The main Tesco supermarket also serves as the town's local petrol station. I thought 161.9 for petrol was pretty decent here in truth. That's going to get some comments, I'm sure. Market Weighton Town Council consists of 13 councillors who were elected in May 2019. In the town hall there's a town clerk and an administration officer. At 14 Beverley Road is the Wicstun Centre, which is effectively a library more than anything else. Now I can't confirm this, but by the look of these buildings I'd say this was an old school. Maybe some Weighton locals can confirm that either way, but given how many old schools I've come across now, this screams old school to me with its architecture and layout. On Station Road is the Market Weighton Community Hall, the scene of the Over 55s Club, Bingo, Slimming World, a dance club, and the Market Weighton Women's Institute. I like the idea of there being public toilet blocks in these small towns. It's something I feel we should see more of. Market Weighton has that base covered, and these are near the car park. I initially thought this was a care home. It turns out it's New Concept Care and Nursing, which was established in October 1992 to provide a care service for people in their own homes. And my route also passed Priory Hospital. Again, bear in mind there's more to this place, this is just what the route passed. There's also a health centre, a huge vets on the A1079, and a tennis club here. Let's kick off the landmark section with a couple of water features. First of all, on the green, which is one of the oldest areas in the town, is a duck pond, which I thought was pretty. There's a beck that runs through Market Weighton too, which if you look at how the housing estates are laid out, seems to have dictated how the town has developed somewhat. It's worth mentioning that if you follow the beck through the town, it eventually runs into the Market Weighton Canal, which is now only passable to the south of the M62 at Newport. Just like in Newbold, crystal clear water yet again in the beck. It's brilliant to see. There are some pretty nice flower displays in and around the town centre. Check this one out halfway down Southgate, the road towards Sancton. Meanwhile, back on the green, we have a water pump, not unlike ones we've seen before in this area. I wonder if the ironworks at Renishaw made this one like they did the one at Cherry Burton. While we're on the subject of old buildings which are no longer used for their original purpose, overlooking the green, we have the old police station. Now that's interesting. When was the last time you saw some pipework that had a date on it? This building here has got a downpipe, it seems, 1864 written on it. I found 2 blue plaques in the town centre. Here's the first, which talks about Anne Lister, who was known as the first modern lesbian. Her life was portrayed in the TV series Gentleman Jack. Hilda Margaret Lyon, on the other hand, was an aeronautical engineer who invented the lion shape. Her work is still used in aircraft and submarine design to this day. We've also got 2 Jubilee memorials as well in the town centre. One of these is brand new as it celebrates the Platinum Jubilee of Queen Elizabeth II, which is of course this year. There's also a life-size statue of Giant Bradley. Fun fact, he made a living out of his height, exhibiting himself at fairgrounds around the country. Market Weighton even has a trail named the Giant Bradley Trail, and the A1079 road around the town is named Giant Bradley Way for part of its length. Okay, I'm back where I began. I'm parked literally just around the corner from this bridge over the beck, which you saw in the video. Now, Market Weighton obviously is a big town, and there are plenty of things around it in the surrounding countryside within the boundaries. There's one thing in particular that I noticed, which is where I'm going to end this video. I hope I've caught enough of the town on my main walk around. That's what picture bits are for though. If I haven't, and anything else that I haven't got is coming your way right now. Well, in case you weren't sure that you were on the Yorkshire Wolds, I can categorically tell you you are now, because all around here we have not massive mountains, but certainly hills, lots of them. And down in a valley down here, we've got the one thing I've come out of Market Weighton to show you, and that is St Helens Well. Here we go, St Helens Well. Let's take a walk down to it and see what's down there. St Helens Well is an evocative site. It's found lying in a wooded valley. The spring arises from a small cave and fills a triangular stone-lined chamber. This structure has been linked to bathing, but there's no evidence of such an activity, and it may be more due to the water being used to film steam engines, which used to pass by many years ago. Nevertheless, this is still a calm and charming site, which has been considerably improved with a stone-built well house enclosing and protecting the natural cave. The well is one of 4 in the Goodmanham area, a village to Market Weighton's immediate northeast. This, as far as I can tell, is the only one falling within the town's boundaries. A local tree along the Hudson Way, which the well is sited right next to, has become a considerable rag tree. There's plenty of information about it on these boards, so if you're ever in Market Weighton, stop and stay a while at St Helens Well as you walk along the Hudson Way and have a read all about it. Well, as you can see, I wasn't kidding when I said that this is quite a steep valley down towards St Helens Well, and of course the Hudson Way here. At the bottom of it, a disused railway line, which we've met before a couple of times. And that's where I'm going to end the Market Weighton episode. And it's time for me to move on to my next one, which is not too far away from here, and you'll see where that is next Saturday. But for now, this has been the town of Market Weighton, and I've been Andy, also known as the Village Idiot, and I'm out.